Hi guys, welcome to Cool People Doing Cool Things. Today I'm going to show you how to make a Christmas card. So here I've started by scoring my marshmallow basil cardstock at 4 1/4 on my score pal. I'm just showing you the die that I'm going to be using. It's for Memory Box dies. It's called Flowering Christmas Tree, and I'm also showing you the placement that I'll eventually be using it in. I'm also using a Lawn Fawn Lucky Stars stamp set. I'm using the stars in particular for my background. I'm going to be heat embossing with those, and also using the trademark ink for heat embossing, which is Versamark watermark ink. It's great. It's a clear sticky ink. This is also a Tim Holtz grid acrylic block that I'll be using with the stars. What I'm going to do is put all 4 stars on the one block, so I'm not constantly changing in between the blocks. I'm going to place them on all 4 corners and basically dab the ink in when I want to use that star and just sporadically use it all over the background. Eventually it's going to give a nice effect. I didn't in the end stamp perfectly for all of them. They're not all complete stars, as you'll eventually see, but I think it looks pretty okay for my first time ever doing it on camera or off using this technique. So here I am. I fast forwarded a little bit. I'm just stamping them all. As you can see, it's a lot quicker just to use that one block for all 4 rather than having 4 separate blocks or having to unmount and mount each star. It just makes it a lot quicker, especially if you're mass producing cards this Christmas, which I know can always be very tedious. So I'm using Hero Arts embossing powder in white for my stars. I'm putting as much as I can. Be very generous with the powder because most of it won't be used, so it's not going to waste. I've also put an A4 piece of paper underneath to collect it afterwards. Just makes it a lot easier. So yeah, be generous as I have, and I will just take off all the excess, which is a lot of it, well, most of it, and I also grab a paintbrush, just a dry spare paintbrush, to clear any of residue powder that's actually come on. Now I'm going to be using my Paper Mania heat tool to heat set it, and what this does is makes it not sticky anymore, dries all the powder and gives it a nice finish. Now here I'm using Distress inks in tumbled glass for my background, with a sponge dauber as well. As you can see, those stars are coming through, and I also just put a mask. It's washi tape, but I've just put it on the edge of the card so it doesn't transfer to the other side of the fold. Very easy to do. Just make sure if you are using washi tape straight from the actual tape, maybe put it on your skin, on your hand, on a piece of table a couple of times just to remove a little bit of that stickiness. They're usually not that sticky, but just in case. So I used a sponge dauber, and then I also went in with a baby wipe just to remove any ink that may have gotten onto those embossed stars. As you can see, some of them are a little bit incomplete. Like I said, it is my first time trying this technique with the heat embossing and the inks because I haven't had any of these tools for ever. So yes, it's a first time experiment, and for some reason I was crazy enough to do it on camera. So my technique is not perfect at all by any means. So I cut out that die from earlier on, and I used, the paper that I used is Quill A4 cardstock in XL. Basically I just get it from Officeworks. It was in assorted colours. It's quite a basic regular cardstock that I saw when I first started, but initially I was going to use a patterned paper in green, but I thought I didn't like, and you can kind of see it to the side a little bit, it didn't stand out as much as I would have liked against that background. So I just used Tombow Mono Multi Glue, bit of a tongue twister, to adhere it because it gives me that time to move if I need be, because it is a liquid glue and it's not straight it won't dry straight away. The camera is a bit blurry, but you can kind of get the gist of what I'm doing. I'm basically sticking it down, and so yep, pat it down, and that's pretty much it. I did put a sentiment inside that basically just said Merry Christmas. You can choose whatever sentiment. If you'd like a sentiment on the front, that's up to you. I kind of like the red alone, and you can use whatever background stamps as well. You can see my technique with the ink isn't perfect, and a lot of my stamping isn't complete, but you know what, I didn't think it was too bad for my first time. So that's pretty much my card today. Thanks for watching Cool People Doing Cool Things, and if you'd like to visit me, my blog is kianiscreations.com.